Welcome to the SML podcast. This is SML Total Access. I am your host, Primetime000, and with me is my co-host, ZZ the Great. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? SML, what's going on, Prime? We're in what are we, week 7 here?
Yeah, week
Man,
7.
we're rolling along here. We got the guys advancing early again this week, and the SML, man, is just doing great. I love all the activity that's going on. We don't have to pretty much do anything anymore. These
Right.
guys are pretty much getting it handled week to week, man, and that's great.
Yeah, it's always great when you see your members are proactive, not reactive. We don't really have to chase down games. They're just getting the job done, getting them done early, and it's fun to see. It means our league is thriving. It means good things are happening in the SML. But
Yes.
we're always looking for more, and we want some content creators. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Speaking of more, man, we need guys that are willing to give us some help on the content side. We need some guys that are willing to write articles. Just a little blog post. We had Two Step doing this thing. NYT was doing his thing at one time, and we that's what we need. We need guys to get back into that. We had the Lions owner talking about doing a highlight reel, and I think that's freaking awesome. I mean, if we could get even if it's bi-weekly, I think the biggest thing here is for guys to be consistent. If it's a consistent bi-weekly thing, then I'm all for it. But we got to get some guys that are willing to step in, because between me and Prime, we only can do so much, and then with 2 leagues now, we're spread pretty thin. So we need guys to get in here and help us out with content.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like you said, we're spread pretty thin, and then it's just the ability to hear different voices, hear different ideas, and like you said, we might be talented at this, we might be good at this, but there's 30 other guys in this league that are talented at something else. So if you're good at writing and you want to write weekly, bi-weekly, twice a week, doesn't have to be the same stuff. I mean, you could take your own idea, just hit me or ZZ up. If you want to make weekly prediction videos and you're write weekly predictions per advance, you can do that. Just I don't know, work with somebody and do conference predictions, risers and fallers. If you want to do power rankings weekly, whatever you want to make a power ranking video after 3 advances once a week. It's the sky's the limit in the possible content. How often you want to do it, as long as it's consistent, we're happy.
Yes.
It's just we just want to see more of it, and we want to see it on a consistent basis.
And you guys know that me and Prime are here to help you guys at any time. I mean, I'm not the best with the recording thing. Prime helps me with that. And if you need any help trying to figure out how to get this stuff started, if you want us to jump in with you in the beginning, just so you feel comfortable, and then you can go, on by yourself, we're ready to do that. We just want guys to get started. And look, don't get me wrong. The content is great in the SML. I mean, we got I'm sure one of the best chats in the Madden football community. So we got guys that are active. Raider steady putting up his videos. I mean, it's always hilarious content. I can't count how many times I'm caught laughing out loud and people looking at me crazy, like, what the hell are you laughing at? Because I'm looking at this feed with these crazy ass dudes. So I mean, we got great guys, we got great stuff going on. The thing is we just need some more football related content, some more SML related content.
Right. And even if it's something simple like Raider sending me a video of a 2-minute video, like, hey, this is my predictions this week or whatever,
Yes.
like I said, and then you send it to me and I'll put it on the YouTube page and I'll make it look fancy. If somebody with a personality, we want personalities, and there's plenty of personalities in the SML, but I think
Yes.
switching gears a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
we hit that on the head. What does it take to be a great player or user in the SML?
Um, I'm not the best person to be asking this, but nah. I guess to be a good player, I know for sure you got to know a little something about football. You got to know how zones work, how man-to-man defense work, blitzes, and how that can affect plays, and what downs to do it on, that kind of thing. That's overall football knowledge is a must when playing Madden. Any Madden player that doesn't know how football works, I mean, he's not going to be playing Madden for very long. But Other than that, user ability is key. I mean, I think that's kind of like what separates a lot of us guys right now is the user abilities. I mean, the user ability between Yoshi, more wine. Ugh, hate that name,
Hmm.
and you, and some of the other guys, Future. I mean, and of course, Gov. That 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 user ability separates you guys from the rest of us. If you're able to switch and take another player out of position to come across and pick off somebody who you're not even looking at as being covering the receiver, that completely changes the whole game. The stuff that Yoshi does when running the ball, that completely changes the way you have to play him. So I think on both sides of the ball, football knowledge and user ability are definitely key. Do you
Uh,
find anything
yeah, I
that helps?
personally. Oh, I do have a quick question about that. Would you say you
Sure.
are able to read defenses pretty well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Madden makes it pretty obvious most of the time when somebody plays up. You can tell how far a guy is off the ball. If they're 5 yards off the ball, they're pretty much playing cover two. 7 yards off, they're playing some kind of more cover four, deeper defense. So it's kind of easy to read. I think the technical side of it is one of the things that I feel at. I mean, just the sensitivity of the control and getting in between blocks and knowing when to actually hit your R1 to take off or to
Hmm.
spin or timing and that kind of thing. I think that comes with repetitive play and like guys, especially like Oshi, guys that are into mutt and that kind of thing. I think they have that advantage because they play so often. It's more of a reaction for them. They're not really even thinking about it. They do it so often.
Right. I do have two things. First is I want to touch on that mutt a little bit, and I think people often say they associate mutt with cheese, and
Yeah.
people can very often like for example, there's guys I see in the SML that are in multiple leagues. I think Grams is in multiple leagues, and a few
Mm-hmm.
other guys. I don't know off the top of my head. Grams was just the first one because I see his Twitch pop up sometimes. Uh,
Yes.
what's the difference where somebody's playing a lot of mutt and somebody who's playing a lot of just CFM games? I mean, either way, you're getting the repetition in, right?
Not necessarily because the mud guys are getting more user. I think they're playing a lot of individual. Like I mean, yeah, you're usering when you're playing against other guys, but I think in mud the training. I don't know how much of the mud you played. I played a little bit of it, but from what I see, it's a lot. It's like a consistent training game where you're constantly achieving these goals and constantly doing stuff to build these ultimate teams and play them against other
Right.
guys. And I think that the mud guys are just, I mean, they play a lot more than CFM. But if you play a CFM game, you're playing what, maybe at max, I would think somebody with a job is playing 5 games a week.
Right. Right.
so
Right.
so so compared to somebody who's playing mutt, man, they're playing sometimes, dude,
Three a
20
game.
games.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
Right.
playing 20 games a week.
I
So
think
I think that's a
I
bit
could
of a
see
difference.
that. Also, I think you're right in the sense that it seems like the competition is just a little bit better because of that. Not that obviously SML and other leagues I've seen the competition is very strong, but
Yes.
let's just be straight with it. Mutt's a cash cow in EA, and it draws a lot of people in, and more people are into Mutt than they are CFM. Therefore, you're going to have a better likelihood of having better competition because more people are playing Mutt. So
Yes.
iron sharpens iron with that, and like you said, the
Yes.
repetition. But going back to my thing, what makes you great in the SML? I would say a very little talked about thing is play calling. I watch a lot of
Mm.
games, and I watched off the top of my head, Raider was playing Haas in season one, and Raider literally lost the game because and by 14 points when he had the lead late in the game because of one play call, an under center pass play instead of just running it up the middle. I think
Yes.
play calling really bites some guys. Even a play call in the first quarter or the last 2 minutes of a second half where the points can swing or you can get a two for
Yes.
one. Guys, just
Hmm.
situational awareness and play calling. I see it all the time, and I think that's really a big difference that guys don't talk about.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a big thing. I watch it all the time. I see some of the poise some of the more veteran guys have when they're playing in games really makes the difference because if you, I had this problem like really bad last year where I would throw in the red zone like way too often,
Hmm.
and it's not necessary to take those chances once you get in scoring position because of course 3 points is way better than getting picked off and
Yes.
having somebody return for 7 yards and then that's a 10 point swing. So those kind of decisions make a real big difference. I can see exactly what you're talking about.
I agree. I agree 100%. So what do you think has been your most difficult obstacle playing in the SML?
My most difficult obstacle is my running game. I just have not. I mean, it's not really that I can't run. I know how to run, and when I do it, I probably average a pretty good, yardage. It's just I don't stick to it enough, and I think that goes back to what you were just talking about. It's the mindset, it's the patience, that kind of thing. You get down seven, and you want to get right back into the game instead of being calm, running the ball, doing what you need to do because like for instance my last game with the Bucks, how I ended up getting the X factor for my cornerback was because I held him to 77 yards passing, and the Bucks has been a great passer since he's been in this league, but he was patient enough to continuously run the ball, and man, he had two great breakout runs that helped him beat me, towards the end, and I think I led most of that game. But just that kind of patience in football, really pays off, especially this year with the run game.
Yeah, I would say mine would probably early on when I was playing just connected franchise leagues was when I'd get down. I think you hit it on the head. Is just throwing bombs. You're down 10 points in the second quarter. No need to be throwing bombs and getting picked off.
Yes.
And things start snowballing. Then you can run the ball. Get a stop, and you're right back in it. So stuff like that. Now I would say just consistently bringing in an A effort every week throughout the regular season. I need to get a little bit better at consistently being 100% dialed in on every opponent.
Yes.
And it's hard to do that because the season's a long season. There's not a lot of breaks sometimes,
Yes.
especially if you have other stuff going on outside of Madden. I feel like it's difficult to grind that out 100% every game. Some guys, though, I mean, they probably pop an Adderall before the game. Maybe I should look into that. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's awesome because what I'm thinking about is just that you know that really does play a big factor in all this because if you're not locked in and you're not 100% focused, you can get on, like you say, how you think you're on autopilot and you're doing other stuff, drinking chocolate milk, looking at Facebook, doing whatever,
Yeah.
and you're not 100% locked into the game. And for this league, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
because we all know that momentum is real. And man, we are playing a computer game, so it
Yes.
is written into the code that
Mm-hmm.
momentum has to play a factor. So when you do stuff wrong in Madden, it can swing on you real quick, and it can be very hard to get back into games because nobody will be open, or if they are open and it's a wide open pass, you'll throw it to them and wonder why the guy just jumps up in the air to catch the ball this one time, just enough so the guy can hit him and knock the ball loose. That's how momentum affects Madden, especially this year. I
Right.
think big time.
A good example is last season. I was like really hot the whole year. I lost the first game. I went on like a 9 game win streak. Then I got a little, not as focused as I should have been. I lost four straight, just four in a row. And then by game four, I was trying my hardest, and it's in my head. Then didn't really know what to do, and I almost missed the playoffs. Obviously, got hot then, and I won the Super Bowl. But it is like you said, if you're not dialed in and if you're not on your A game, you can get beat by anybody. And
Which
go on.
Yeah, go ahead. No.
Oh,
Go ahead.
which
Yeah.
a good example is NYT, who beat Haas and then the next week lost to Raider fan. Two ends of the spectrum, literally within two
Yes.
advances. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, it is. What Speaking of, what was your most disappointing loss that you can remember?
Most disappointing loss by far is season. I don't know what year it was. It was a Super Bowl, and I was playing Jonesy, and one of our better SML players. He's not with us anymore,
Yeah, I remember
and
Jonesy.
I Luck got injured, and so Luck was out. So I had Robert Griffin, and this wasn't like prime Robert Griffin. This is like season 6,
Yes.
so he was like bum
I remember.
RG3, like 77 speed. Like
Yeah.
so. So I remember I made my way through the playoffs, got to the Super Bowl, had a little bit of a lead. Then he scored back, and I drove down and I missed like a 35-yard field goal to lose the game. And I remember that was the most upset I've ever been about a Madden game. But uh,
did he didn't he did he ice your kicker on that one?
yeah, he iced my
Yeah,
kicker.
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate that freaking feature. I can't kick field goals anyway with my internet, and then ice the kicker.
I
That's
actually
that's stupid.
I think well I'm gonna disagree on that point because I think there needs to be something because field goals can be a little easy, man. I know
Mm-hmm.
for me that I mean that it's just a meter, and um, I think that having an extra element of pressure
Right,
just on the ice feature because if you're not when it just disappears and hey
right.
man, you got to give it that extra little half a second. So I think it gives that person a option
What I would
to
have
save that
preferred
time out, that thing, that kind of thing.
what I would have preferred, it feels almost cheesy that the meter disappears. Maybe if they made it smaller window and the meter go faster.
Yeah.
But I was more upset. I was more upset that Adam Vinatieri can get iced when he's, he got they have in the game that he's got the clutch gene. Anyway, see, this is why it's the most disappointing game because I'm still ranting about it 3 years later. Anyway, I lost. Uh, so what about you? Do you have a game or not really? Or
Yeah, not really. I mean, I haven't had enough great wins. I mean, I've been to the playoff once,
what's your best
minus
win? How about that? What's your best win?
my best win. I think I had a halftime comeback win versus the Steelers. It was back when me and DMI Rome used to go at it, and and me and him used to go at it all weekend. And I used to be dying to get to beat this guy. Him and the Chiefs
Yeah,
used to get on me pretty bad, and so when I first got in the league, and I think I was down 28 points at halftime,
yeah.
and I was able to come back.
Wow.
And I remember you guys were talking. That might have been one of the biggest comebacks ever. And
Yeah.
I came back and ended up winning the game.
Huh.
So yeah, that was probably my biggest win. As far as losses, man, I mean, I had so many. It's hard to count 'em.
I,
So
I do remember you almost had an epic game. It was your first season in the SML, and you were the Raiders, and I was the Colts. And it was one of those games where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna walk over this dude. And you came in. I think I took a lead, and then you almost came back on me, almost beat me. Uh,
yes,
and
yeah. But most of my games have been 1 point games
yes, yes.
in the league.
It goes down to
So
situational awareness and play calling.
yes.
Anybody can beat anybody. It's just being able to get on the right side of the ball. It seems like most of these games. Um,
Yeah. Well, I got the Chiefs in a little bit. I got to play this week. Any advice there?
Yeah, man, I'll call Haas out right now. Haas is a pass first player, and that's what's I think his defense isn't as good this cycle as it's been last year. And if Haas can
Hmm.
get that defense down, he's gonna be a freaking monster. But right now, I think he's lost a few games, lost to Mike and lost to NYT 2 in a row. So he's coming from your head. I'm sure that's a fact. Uh,
So by the time you hear this, Haas, I mean, I probably would have beaten you by now, and you're gonna be like really pissed off that Prime gave me these notes. So
yes, yes. Switching gears now. Uh, Lawyer Killer, he's back. He's back.
yes, yeah, Laura Killer and Woods. I think, man, I think they're back on their stroll. They started off kind of low in the beginning of the year, and I think they're picking it up. And I don't know records right now, but I think both of them are doing okay right now.
Yeah, Lord Killer just lost to the Bears. I mean, that's you can't really hold it against him. That's like a kicker missing a 60-yarder. I mean, it's just kind of.
Yeah.
But his next three are interesting. He's 4-3. He plays the Texans field general, who's silently been really impressive. 5-1. His only loss was to me.
Yes.
The Colts. So Lord Killer plays me. Then he goes back to Chicago and plays the Bears. Is this probably a chance for Lawyer Killer to kind of assert himself as, hey, I'm back. Shut up for talking all that trash.
Yeah, yeah. If he can actually come out of this and with a positive record or maybe 2 games over, I think that you can consider Lawyer Killer back. Considering he has to go through you, Oshi, and and then coming off that loss that he just had, and Phil he's playing outstanding right now. So if he can get through all three of you guys and come out on top, then I think that's a validation.
And looking at Woods, who's 4-3, I look back at his record and I rescind what I said that Woods is done. I
Yeah.
apologize 100%, and here's why: 4-3, his 3 losses have been to the Eagles, Governor. He lost by
Yes.
2 points.
Um,
The Colts, me, he lost by 3 points, and then the Cowboys, Grams, 2
oh,
points. So 2 points, all within a field goal, all playoff teams, all Super Bowl caliber teams. This guy's got a
Game,
chance to freaking make
yeah,
a run at it.
yeah. Those are all games that he was probably expected to probably lose,
Mm-hmm.
and he almost won them. So yeah, I think we can fairly say that Woods is back, Laurie is back, which doesn't spell make things very good for me in the and considering I'll be chasing down a playoff spot, hopefully,
Right,
and trying to chase down a playoff spot at best, you know.
right.
Well,
I mean, the thing
yeah,
about Laura Killer is he gets in at the 6th seed. All freaking records are out the door because this guy,
yeah,
when you talk about a playoff warrior and you talk about folding chairs in the playoffs, he's the exact opposite. If you don't want to play Laura Killer, and then his games look ugly. I've watched them. They'll look ugly, but then he'll come out winning. It's that simple. So I'm excited to see Laura Killer back. It's good for the SML.
yes. So I mean, so other than that, man, we just want to kind of like, I guess what are we like? We got to be close to 20 minutes,
Yeah.
getting close to wrapping this thing up,
Yes.
and we just want to touch back on the fact that, hey, man, we need a little bit of help from you guys. I mean, as far as content, and then also the Primer League, we also need help there, guys. We
Yes.
need any guys that are willing. If you're willing to, if you don't have another league right now, and you want to go ahead and join our Primer, we got a couple spots that are open, and we'd like to probably bring in a couple more guys that's going to help us out because we just need to liven that chat up a little bit, get these guys more interactive. I'm trying to get a show started. I'm having a little trouble with my recording stuff and trying to get it, but I got a guy that's willing to do it. We got a couple guys in the Primer that are ready to actually engage, but we need some guys to actually, help draw them in.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. We're looking for guys who can influence future SML players. Help out in any way you can. Post in the chat. Just be yourself. And also,
Yes.
if you can't do any of that stuff, that's fine. But if you know somebody who's looking for another home or another league, and you can
Yes.
honestly say the SML is a good place, direct them to me or have them apply on simmaddenleague.com. If you're watching this and you've made it through 20 minutes of this podcast and you're not in the league, apply simmaddenleague.com. I can promise you, I can guarantee to you, this will be the best Madden decision you've made in your life. Simmaddenleague.com. We got Twitter, we got YouTube, we got it all. We got trophies, we got giveaways, we got raffles. We're the best league on the PlayStation 4, bar none. The best on the PS4, and that's SML Total Access. ZZ, you got anything?
Now that's it. The best, baby. That's all I got to say.
Thanks for listening, guys. You take it easy.